I take refuge in Buddha. I take refuge in Dharma. I take refuge in Sangha. Good morning, y'all. We're wrapping up our annual early spring beginner's mind retreat. And these words, beginner's mind, are a great teaching in themselves. So I would like to explore this territory a little bit and see where we head from there. With all things, there are many different levels or ways of appreciating, seeing, regarding an experience. There is the ordinary way of seeing and regarding things. We can easily relate to things with our preconceived notions, and it usually takes a little more care in the quality of our attention to make space for different perspectives, to see more of the depths of an experience or teaching. We have to remind ourselves, we have to look with fresh eyes. We can acknowledge the superficial level of having a beginner's mind as being one who does not have first-hand experience with an activity, or someone who is entering a new context or place for the first time. Very ordinary definition. I've never done this before, so I'm a beginner. A beginner often has some mixture in differing and morphing proportions of feeling excitement, confoundment, anxiety, a kind of stance of testing one's doubt. Is this thing really for me? Great alertness in receiving new stimuli. Curiosity about the surface level of absorbing new experiences, and curiosity about feeling into a deeper sense of appreciation. As we grow into a new experience, a new art form, a new skill or relationship, it's very natural to have the sense of, I know what this is. I know what's going on. It's very natural to have these senses cloud our freshness. I can't tell you how many times I've sat in this room and done chanting service and it feels rote. I'm not relating to it on a deeper level. But that's not all that happens. In spiritual practice and in any art or endeavor, when we maintain the living edge of a beginner's mind, throughout the journey of time, come back to beginner's mind. Even after we are no longer a beginner in the physical or the ordinary sense, many experiences open up, including but not limited to refreshment, joy, surprise or astonishment, connection with others, and having a sense of inclusion, a sense of community, shared experience, and feeling into the medicine of giving to ourselves and receiving from ourselves and others the encouragement to persevere and keep showing up and sincerely applying ourselves, even in the face of feeling stuck or restless or overwhelmed. This morning at the sharing circle, someone said, when I grow up, I want to be a beginner. And I just love that. Takes the edge off of, takes the sharpness off of needing to know what's going on. A primary teaching of Buddhism and life in general is that everything changes. Things are always shifting, coming together and falling apart. Events and encounters are so fleeting, they are like a dream. When we hear words like everything changes, we nod our heads and go, yeah, I get that. It's obvious. But how is the reality of everything changes in the dimension of felt belief, in the dimension of our habituated thinking, our ability to respond? When a good situation ends, we often contract into insisting to the universe that it not end. We subtly or not so subtly start bargaining or scheming to retrieve the pleasant experience, or even just the shadow of the pleasant experience. Endings and beginnings, and time in general, are not what our habituated thinking and believing says they are. Every new day is fresh. When we wake up in the morning, it didn't have to happen that way. Yet we receive the gift of life to do the work that we need to do today, to enact the kindness that we need to enact today. I recommend that as your day is getting going shortly after you wake up, and the sooner to the waking up itself, maybe the better, you go outside and you regard the sky and the plants and the human-made things, the buildings, the sidewalk, the things that support life. And you say to them, thank you. This imbues my day with a sense of freshness, at least in the moment of the thank you and the wake afterward. I usually say it silently in my mind, thank you, but I'm inspired to say it out loud. Maybe the sky and the clouds can hear me better if I do it out loud. The practice life asks us for our full-time engagement, full-time care. This does not necessarily mean making a project out of our spiritual practice and constantly, anxiously checking to see if we are succeeding. Anxiety and fear-based thinking, wanting to look good in the eyes of others, transactional thinking. If I put effort into my practice, I must get equal or greater returns. These are all normal parts of the human experience. And yet, when our spiritual practice is guided by the deep intuition that when I am as warm and clear as I can be in my presence, and therefore in my relationship to what is in front of me, then warmth and clarity shine, and they start to ripple outward. Full-time engagement in practice is an affirmation that everything we say matters. If and when the time is ripe, one harsh word or sentence can crush someone's spirit. And if and when the time is ripe, one encouraging word or phrase can lift someone up and heal them. Full-time engagement is not about an uninterrupted, thought-free space of having the clearest mind, having the most Zen vibes that we've ever had, and always maintaining that, whatever our fantasy of that is. Full-time engagement is more like the steady trickle of water on rock, little by little transforming the landscape into a beautiful canyon. Full-time engagement is about recognizing that practice happens immediately. The value of one mindful breath, breathing in fully, breathing out and letting the past and any sense of staleness go. The value of this cannot be measured. Do not think that one full mindful breath is insignificant. It can transform your world even just for a fleeting moment. Now is the only time we can practice. And thankfully, it's always right now. Practice does not require a great leap into something foreign and seemingly unattainable. Practice asks that we remember to enact warm presence and a compassionate response. The difference between walking down the sidewalk and the dominant texture of the walking is anxious thinking about the future, and walking down the sidewalk with mindfulness of the body, feeling into how the feet land, how the hips move, the upright torso, the open gaze, calmly enjoying a little walk. The difference between those two things is vast. Heaven and hell happen on the same sidewalk. I recommend the practice of cleaning one's house or room. If you keep your space clean and tidy, your mind is more likely to be calm. The flip side is that if you rigidly and restlessly need to keep your space clean, the anxiety that fuels that endeavor will fill your heart. So just clean things up and notice how your heart is brightened simultaneously. Cleaning with a resentful attitude does not serve. Full-time engagement is remembering to engage in our life with care and not being led around by our habituated thinking. If we regularly feel friction in relating with a certain person in our lives, it's very helpful to interrupt the habituated friction. Put a wedge in it, if only for a moment. So the next time you're about to enter a potentially contentious situation with someone, if you have the grace to remember, however that works, and if you have the time, and this only takes a few seconds, or it can, slow down the momentum towards strife, towards anger, or freezing, numbing out, whichever afflictive emotion that you regularly experience. And say a prayer, a wish, something like, may I relate to this person with understanding and sympathy. May this person experience ease and happiness. May I experience ease. So find your own way with it. Whatever wish suits you, you can express it in concert with a full, clearing breath. And then open the door, and then pick up the phone. And this is a very beautiful practice, and it only takes 4 seconds. See if anything in the quality of the encounter shifts. Full-time engagement includes knowing what matters to your deepest heart. If you feel peace or relief or a sense of coming home or wonder when you sit down and meditate, prioritize seated meditation in your life. Busyness is a real force. Responsibility is a real force. And much benefit can come from 10 minutes of meditation in a day. I recommend at least most days, if not every day. When you get in the car to drive off somewhere, take 3 mindful breaths to settle into the essential task of arriving at your destination safely. It's no small matter to jettison through space at high speeds. Put little notes up in a place where you will read them. Encourage yourself. Remind yourself of the goodness of gratitude, of kindness, of friendliness. Remind yourself of the peace that suffuses your being. Remind yourself that it's good to calm down when you get revved up. Practicing seated meditation, practicing presence and mindfulness of the body are good in themselves. And there is a bigger picture going on. People are struggling. People are stressed in overt ways and in subtle ways. And there is medicine. The way you show up to your life can be medicine for yourself and others. There is an important being in Zen Buddhism and Mahayana Buddhism in general, of which Zen is a subset in a way, named Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva. Other names for this being are Kannon Bodhisattva, Kanzeon, Kuan Yin, Chenrezig. Kannon is not a historically true being in the ordinary sense, but they are spiritually true. It is she who hears the cries of the world, the being of great compassion. The life of Kannon flourishes whenever we notice suffering and stress in ourselves, those around us in our immediate sphere, and when our mind reaches out to those very far away from us. Kannon is often depicted with 1,000 arms, or at least very many arms, with the implication that she has 1,000. And in each one of those arms, there's a tool, an implement to compassionately respond to what needs to be taken care of. And the variety of tools is limitless. Building materials, musical instruments, a glass of water, daily vitamins, clean laundry, a pen, a computer keyboard, an open hand. These are all the means for compassion to live. When we have formal meals in the monastery, the head cook makes an offering of food to Kannon, giving thanks that we get to give the gift of food to people, most certainly a compassionate act. Especially if you have a devotional leaning, if you're looking to establish or deepen a home practice, I recommend crafting an altar in your home. It doesn't need to be much, just a shelf or a little table. Put images and things that matter to you on it. I feel connected to the image of Kannon Bodhisattva, but you find your own way with it. It could be a photo of a spiritual teacher you feel inspired or guided by. It could be a photo of your favorite mountain, reminding you of stability, rest, and vastness. Put a photo of a deceased parent or friend to honor their life and their courage in walking into the great beyond after passing from this realm. Put that cool shell that you or your friend found on the beach that one time. The main thing is to make it joyful and meaningful. Offer a glass of clean water. Offer a little piece of your favorite snack. Remind yourself of your reverential heart. One traditional practice is bowing to your bed before you tuck yourself in at night and after you wake up and make your bed. Give thanks for all the support you receive. And if you feel you need some extra support, ask for help from a real person or from whatever being may be regarding your need. Above all, trust yourself. Trust yourself. Your capacity to feel, to be with, and to respond is greater than you know. Trust yourself. In giving a Dharma talk, it's too tempting not to read a poem from Rumi, so I'm going to do that now. This has the title Night and Candle. Yesterday at dawn, my friend said, "How long will this unconsciousness go on? You fill yourself with the sharp pain of love rather than its fulfillment." I said, but I cannot get to you. You are the whole dark night, and I am a single candle. My life is upside down because of you. The friend replied, I am your deepest being. Quit talking about wanting me. I said, then what is this restlessness? The friend, does a drop stay still in the ocean? Move with the entirety and with the tiniest particular. be the moisture in an oyster that helps to form one pearl. The last thing I want to say is just things are complicated, life is complicated, but keep it simple. Be gentle with yourself, be friendly towards yourself. Do the things that give you life, that you love, and take care of the people and the things around you. Thanks for listening.